Hi, my name is Pamorn Martdee. I'm the founder and director of Champions Gym. Now today in this tutorial, I'm going to teach you about effective Muay Thai clinch grip. What tends to happen when people are starting out is they use brute force and brute strength. And what tends to happen when you use brute force and brute strength to fight your opponent is you wear out your shoulders, your arms, your forearms and your wrists, and you get tired pretty quickly. What I'm going to show you today is leverage. Now leverage is very effective because it minimizes your energy expenditure, which means essentially you're going to have more energy to do the things that you want to do during the clinch. So today I'm going to show you the three main leverage techniques that I like to use during the clinch. So the first key point for leverage is our hooked wrists. So we have two forms of hooked wrists, hooked on the inside or alternatively hooked on the outside. Now, when you hooked your wrists, inside or outside, what that allows you to do is you are using your opponent's movement against them essentially, which means you save your energy. The next part of maximizing leverage is the use of our elbows. So while I've got my hooked wrists, what I want to do is use my elbows. So as you can see here when I come against my opponent, while I'm using my hooked wrist to grab my opponent's tricep, I'm going to use my elbow hooked underneath their elbows. I'm going to use my elbows to ride my opponent's movements, and while they're wasting their energy fighting against me, I'm simply using my leverage to my advantage. And finally, the most important is my head position. So when I'm in the clinch with my opponent, the most important thing is to ensure the correct placement of my head. Now, if I create space with my opponent during the clinch, that puts me in a very dangerous position for being elbowed, and we don't want to get elbowed. So what I want to do is I want to put my head nice and close to my opponent. In Thailand, there's a thing they have, it's called rooster fighting. Thai people love it, it's a national pastime for centuries old. And when you see two roosters fighting, essentially what they do is they put their neck on neck. I like to think of it as inspired by nature. That's going to be the safest position to avoid getting elbowed, and it's also going to be using your opponent's energy against them and maximizing your leverage. So let's talk about grip now. So we've got a few different variations of our grip. Now, the most important thing is ensuring that we're fighting on the inside, because when you're on the inside of your opponent's arms, that's always going to give you an advantage to maneuver and move them to where you'd like to be. If you're on the outside, it's your main priority to fight your way inside. Now, the first one is your 100% neck grip. So that involves having both hands on the neck, keeping your elbows nice and tight like a vice grip, grabbing the hand on hand behind the head or behind the crown of the head to pull the head down. That's going to allow me to maneuver my opponent from the head. The next style of grip is our 100% arm grip. So what I'm doing, instead of having both arms on the neck and the head, controlling the head, what I'm going to do is I'm going to change and hold the arms. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to loop my hands inside my opponent's. I'm going to lock with the hooked wrist on the tricep, using my elbows to splay my opponent out. And what that's going to allow me to do is maneuver my opponent accordingly, also lifting the elbows to set myself up for the knee on my opponent. The next grip is 50-50 arm, 50-50 neck. And what that's going to allow me to do is to control my opponent's head and their body whilst moving their arms away from their body. And that in turn is going to allow me to lift the knees to throw at my opponent's body. I hope you really enjoyed this technique tutorial today. Remember, practice makes perfect. I really recommend you practicing without gloves, and as you get better at it, try with the gloves while drilling with a partner. That's going to help you become really proficient with your clinch technique. Now, if you enjoyed this tutorial today, be sure to like, comment, share, even tag a friend who you believe needs to improve their clinch game. We'll see you soon.